All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ironclad Insights. Today, we're going to be covering the Bokur Brawl that just happened, a week and a half ago now, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
over
Mhm.
in New Jersey, the second largest total event. Adepticon beating it by a total of 3 people.
Yeah.
Uh, Joining me today, I've got Ryan McCoyne, Eric Ryberg, Robert Brennan, and Cody. I apologize, Cody. I don't actually know your last name.
Come
Cody DeMont, no worries.
Right. Well, let's get into the first and most interesting part of the Boker Brawl, and that is getting to the Boker Brawl. Erica and Ryan, I believe you told me that getting there was the most fun experience you've had.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, so as my lovely wife has dropped me off at the airport to fly out, I get the notification on the phone, like literally as I get dropped off at like the terminal. Oh, your flight got delayed by 3 hours. I'm like, oh, great. I'm already at the airport too. I'm not having her turn around and pick me back up to maybe drop me off over at Ryan. So I'll just sit in the airport and just be a freaking lurker there for a minute. Eventually, I had my friends come join me, and this is where you step in, Ryan.
So, the night before, literally the night before we traveled, I messaged Travis, Marg, to say, "Hey, bud, Eric and I are flying together. Um, and was just curious to know if you were on a similar flight and I rented a vehicle. It would be cool if I could just, save you the trip from the airport because that train that goes to Manville fucking sucks and it doesn't run all the time. And Ubering's real expensive." And Travis sent me a message saying, "Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome." And he sends me his flight information, and it's the same flight that Eric and I are on. I live 18 minutes from O'Hare Airport, so I was like, "Hey Travis, why don't you just come here? You can park for free in my driveway, and I'll take you over, and you can ride in the fucking rental car with us. Everything works perfectly." Travis pulls into my driveway as I get the notification saying, "Hey, your flight's been delayed 3 hours." Uh, so we texted and called Eric, and Eric informed us that he was already going through security and wasn't going to bother coming back. So Travis and I hung out for a little bit, and then we went over and we all kind of had a nice little sit-down chat in the airport waiting for our plane. Unfortunately, with our flight being delayed 3 hours, I realized that my rental car place might be closed when we got there because we weren't landing till what, 1:15, Eric?
It was like 1:15 or 1:30 their time.
Yep, something like that. So I
Yep.
called over, and of course, they are closed at midnight, which means you can't pick up your car. So I canceled the reservation, did get a partial refund, and rebooked a new one. Unfortunately, no one else on our flight or the other flight that got delayed did this. So when we did land, walked over to the rental car place, and there were, I don't know, like 6 or 8 people in front of me, all getting brand new reservations because the time had rolled over, and their reservations canceled because it was the next day. So I was the only person in line standing there waiting to just pick up a vehicle. We get to the front and paid a little extra to get a truck because I like driving trucks, and they didn't have one. So we got a Ford Expedition that I, was the strangest part of the weekend for me. It had a fucking oval shaped steering wheel, and it felt like it was going to roll over every time we hit a bump. But besides that, traveling was great. Haha. Cody, how about
Oh,
yours?
I've somehow lost a lot of faith in your travel ability.
mine was somewhat less exciting. The trip there was nice and easy. It's about a 6.5 hour drive for us. The trip
Did
home,
you and all of the Buffalo crew come in a big van again?
no, we had, I think, 4 cars.
Woof.
I believe that's correct. There's a lot of us.
There
The
are.
trip down wasn't bad. Nice smooth drive. The trip home, we went to dinner with a few people after Boker finished up. Got on the road. We were good to be home at like midnight. And then 100 miles from Buffalo, we blew a tire. Oy. So we spent an hour fixing that in the middle of the dark, and then had to limp home the last 100 miles with a donut. So I got home at 4 a.m.
Disgusting.
Robert, does this sound oddly familiar to you?
Yeah, except
Fortunately,
I feel like I prefer it on the way out than on the way to an event.
It's fair.
Robert and I went to Dayton, Ohio's Gem City event like a month ago,
Yeah, about a month ago.
and about 100 miles out, about midnight, we blew a tire.
Muy importante.
Wonderful experience. Everybody should totally have in their lifetime. I definitely
I
recommend.
also stabbed a finger in the process.
See, this is why it pays to be in the trades, because I just have an impact in my truck with a socket that's the correct size for my fucking lug nuts, and it takes me like 2 to 5 minutes to change a tire. I don't know.
Oh no,
Five.
this was me attempting to
This was,
patch
this
the
was trying to
tire.
patch the tire. Yeah, we
Oh,
were able
okay,
to
okay,
change
okay,
the tire
okay.
just fine, but we tried to patch it first.
That's fair. I can understand that. All right. Well, travel sucked for us. Travel sucked for Cody on the way back. And I will get to our trip home because there's a little interesting tidbit at the end of the event for us too in travel. So let's carry on.
Yep.
All right. So moving on to pods, I'm just going to kind of go down each pod individually. So we're going to go person by person. So let's go straight in the middle. Pod number 2, Eric. You placed 4th overall. Went going 3-1. Tell me about your 4 rounds. Round 1, you played into Michael.
Yep.
Garbarini. I probably butchered your name. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Gerbicelli,
He is
Garbagini,
on.
however.
He's actually playing on WTC Team 2 with Travis Marg and Rick Coe.
Yep. This is the second time I got to play him. Basically 2 cons in a row where both me and him went and me and him play against each other. It's always a great time playing against Mike. We played this matchup before. So it's his Kane versus Mike Ishtar. It was a very back and forth game, and there was an opportunity in my turn 3. He failed to kill Invictus. There's a lane that I could have gotten Invictus onto Kane, but with how the pods and how the IG points were going to break down, because it was basically everyone combining for points in that. I didn't want to try to go for the assassination and then fail, because also too, Kane at def 17 still hard to hit even with a mat 7. So I went for a more attrition play. And later on, after the game's over, after I lost to Mike, we talked about that was probably the turning point in the game. That decision right there may have been the better one to go for, was to actually go for the assassination there. Just Michael slowly attrition and grinding me out of that game, and he took it on scenario 19-12. His games always go high on scenario points.
Interesting. Strong suggestion you go for the boosted 10s. Not terrible odds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna backyard coach this for a moment.
Yeah. It's just one of those things too. He also had some HMG crews like in front of Kane, and again, I killed 85 points of his army, and guess like what were most of his points left?
4 HMG crews.
Like 3 of them, and like a couple other like the Stormbanes, and that was about it.
All right. After that, you're in the fun bracket now.
Yes.
0-1, you're going into Belshazzar.
Yeah.
Playing the Orgoth mirror.
Yeah, his take was interesting. No Zabrith or Kishtar on his pairing. He just had Butcher and Harusk. Honestly, I thought we were going to get a Butcher v Butcher, but he dropped Harusk into my Butcher. I'm like, oh, cool. I get to maybe 1 round of Garrogas. Also, in 2026, someone is still playing Garrogas out there. It's amazing stuff. Yeah, Balthazar was an amazing opponent. Me and him were playing, and it got to the point to where I had a go turn. I was able to get a revved up Tyrant with Redline with the Sliding Flail into his Garlgas at dice +2. Or no, dice even. No, dice +1 because I had Curse. And after everything was said and done, I just need to not roll dub 1s on the last ball attack into him. I proceeded to roll the dub 1s. I left the Garlgas at exactly 1 box left.
I'm proud of you.
And he healed it all up, and he then killed the world with it. But sadly, though, like with him being so bricked up with the Harusk list, I was able to take over like 3/4 of the board and just outscore him on his turn. So at the bottom of turn, or on top of 3, it was 6-3, I believe, and that's how that game ended. So I took that one on
Interesting.
scenario pretty early.
Good, and then moving on to Spinball with playing Saverin into Kishtar.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game as well because it he played very passive. I don't know why Dan did when he had somewhat of a advantage with some range. And it was one of those where um that one I just slowly attritioned out all his pieces there. And then it came down to a point because we were playing trench warfare. He got his winter guard unit up and put two guys in my trench, one weapon attachment, one regular dude, and I had a Reaver commander in there.
Mhm.
And he killed the Reaver commander with the Hounds of layer activation, failed to do it with the Winter Guard, and my Reaver commander was within 4 inches of the regular dude. So he killed them. Like, all right, I'm gonna last word. Smack, hit him, kill the dude. He's no longer scoring my flag anymore. And then I just won a scenario on the bottom of his turn.
Nice.
Dan
So you're
was
now
just
up,
like, yep, go ahead.
so you're now up 2-1, going into round 4 against Pricer playing Lucant.
Yeah, that was dude span to the extreme. So of course I dropped Butcher. Again, Adam is my team captain for the 5-man team event the next day. So me and him were talking about this matchup for days before the event started. So I tell him, like, yeah, as long as you keep your stuff outside of 14 and Butcher, we're good. Well, Adam slipped and gave me a line into 4 of his units with Butcher, and it was like his medium base units, and I was able to go full charge with Butcher, got up to 7 blood quench tokens, basically cleared off his side 40s because round 4 was fault lines, and I had Butcher on his 40s capping both. And then at that point, the game was already lost because I already had controlling the middle of my tyrants, controlling my 40s with the X carriers and Victus, and just Adam couldn't get back into the game at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that one on scenario as well.
This brings into an interesting conversation. How's everybody feeling about reworked convergence? Cody, Ryan, Robert, I'm also really curious about your thoughts.
Haven't played into them yet, so don't want to say too much.
On paper, how do you feel?
They have a bunch of interesting things going on. They seem probably middle of the pack, but it's hard to say without seeing them on the table.
That's fair.
Well, one thing that I realized in mine Am's game, and Am had to explain to people over the weekend because their recursion used to be soul based. It's no longer that. It's now they just return guys back into the units off of those Enigma foundries.
Yeah.
So that's something people have to watch out for. And it's just a straight D3. So the medium guys can come back too.
It's reinforcements, which is the same rule that's on Scar 3.
Yeah, so like I think they have a lot of cool tricks. There's a lot of stuff that they can do. It's if your opponent's prepared for it, it's going to be significantly worse. So like with Centurion, if you have any access to Grievous, that really shuts them down pretty hard. And I think personally, I think Centurion's probably their best caster right now. But
I'm going to be the asshole and say what I really think, which is this is a faction that operates off of your opponent not knowing what your models do. And if you understand the order of activations, processes, and what they're trying to accomplish, it's not that hard to disrupt, and the faction falls apart. I think that it literally operates on your opponent not completely understanding how your faction operates. But that's just my opinion.
Get out
Is
of
this where we
here.
play like the game theory ad or something? That's what that sentence sounded like.
Trash takes with Ryan.
That's just a Ryan theory.
It is just a Ryan theory. You can ignore me. It's fine.
All right. Well, congratulations, Eric, for taking 4th in your pod. The third 3-1, but still very respectable.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you did not get to play Riker and put Riker in his place.
I named a whole list after him.
Oh,
I named the list stress testing Kishtar because Riker told me to.
as one should.
That-
As one
Yep.
should.
Riker.
All right, Cody.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Cody. Go ahead.
All right, Cody, you've recently jumped ship over to Brine Bloods. So tell me about the army that is near and dear to my heart.
At least for this month. I'm likely on Brine Bloods for the foreseeable future, but we'll see what happens.
So you brought Firecool Thorga, as
no surprises,
everybody
really.
brings.
Listen, okay? There's your
So
Mother's
round
Day call.
one, you're playing into Danny McGeehan, Old Witch versus Firequill.
Yep. I do not have magic weapons in Boomhowler, so I do not feel comfortable playing her into certain Grimkin lists because Gremlin Swarms become incredibly problematic.
Yes. That is a fair statement. I do.
I
I
also don't
personally
have a
shove
shield
Spirit Shamans in
bar
every
in
list.
the Boomhowler list. So if the house shoots something, it belongs to the house now.
Yeah, and last thing you want is your caster to be friends with the house.
Or my expensive heavies.
Yeah, fair.
What was the scenario? High stakes? Yeah, it was high stakes. He hadn't played a lot of Grimkin. He was pretty much fresh to playing them, swapping into Bokur. So he chose not to bring some of the more finesse type modules like Bloody Parliament, which for Brine Bloods is a really big deal because Blockabash Bros really hate accurate Dark Seductions.
Yeah. Honestly, I've not experienced that in any of the Old Witch games I've played. But that's a fair argument.
And essentially, I looked at the list at the start of the game and went, that's a slaughterhouse. I'm never going to attack it. And then I didn't. I killed everything else, and I just spent 3 turns picking something tanky and running it base to base with the house for it to eat. So that it stayed there and did that.
That's a fair strategy, and looks like it played out well for you.
Yeah, I ended up scenarioing up because he ran out of other models, essentially.
Makes sense. So then round 2, you played Jake Cooper. Looks like Aslanov into Firequill. Was he not playing? Yep. Did he not have Morozov in his pairing?
I believe he did not. I think it was Aslanov Bodan. I'd have to double check, but I knew I was getting Aslanov.
Sure.
Windstorm, not good enough. Firequill loves seeing an Arm 18 Colossal on the table. I shot it.
Yeah, he does.
It's payload, so it was a fairly slow scenario, so I just got to wait for him to have to move up the table, and then I feeded and removed things, and it was pretty comfortable from there.
Mm-hmm. You know, having the Colossal Killer is only good if it gets to the Colossal. Sure. Speaking from terms of the Gorger.
Yep.
Then let's see, you got Akers in round 3 playing Sabrith.
Yep, this
Did
was
you feel forced into Thorga?
I hadn't played enough, basically any. I played 1 game into Orgoth with Grinds before this, and I wanted Thorga into Kishtar. I wasn't sure if Firequill was okay there. And the answer is Firequill has to be okay there because I have to play him into Sabrith.
Yes. 100%.
He won the roll off, slammed going second on Trench Warfare because I had a very bad table side with scenario. I looked at the tabletop of 2 and went, I can feat and run at you without making a single attack, and that feels miserable, so I'm going to not and see if I can get away with it, and I could not get away with it. He was able to clear everything off my cache, even though I put a fair amount of stuff on it, and score up. He actually made a slight mistake and only scored 4. He should have scored 5, which just automatically locked me out of the game. And then because of the mistake, I had a chance to get back into the game and put literally 50 points into Execrators, and then ended turn with Execrators still on the table.
Oh.
So, yeah. I was in pretty bad shape anyways, but that didn't help.
Mm-mm. Do you feel like you should have feeded and just ran at him and not made attacks?
I think in that situation I had to not lose on scenario, realistically.
Mm-hmm. It's fair. Then I
I don't know
see
that goes well for me either, but it's what I had to do.
understandable. I see round
And then
4 you
round
got to play
4,
everybody's favorite Blind Blood matchup, Thorga v Thorga.
yes. So the funny thing
Is Mr.
is, I'm
Dev.
playing the Thorga list that I am playing because I literally copied Andy's list from Adepticon. So it's an exact mirror match. There's not a point of difference.
Yep.
It's fault lines. He won the role to go first. I have not played the mirror ever. And I make some very small mistakes turn 1, and then turn 2 feel like I have to do something and try to make a play, and it doesn't go well.
Mm-hmm.
And I have feeded and shoved up the table to do it. I leave his Grig on 1 hit point, and I give him dash grows outside of feet and my frog before he's feeded, essentially. So just very, very bad spot. And then the dice go absolutely sideways. He counterfeits, he fails to kill my frog, and he kills that turn my Fugue Walker and a single Marauder in the Vengeance unit. And leaves all of my Wakabash alive on 1.
Wow.
Somehow. Despite his entire army getting to make attacks. And because
That's
of the
painful.
very bad turn of dice, I'm able to claw my way back into the game and out-attrition him.
I got to watch this game from the top of turn 3 on, and I have never seen Andy Bev look more uncomfortable in a game. Not because of the matchup, which is awful, or because of the dice, which were even worse than the matchup, but just the inability to feel like he could accomplish anything. Just like put this look of defeat in his eyes that I don't think I've ever seen from Andy before.
I've seen it.
So
I was on the other side of the table. It's rare, but it does happen.
We've all been there. He was very much in control of the game, and then a couple of small mistakes coupled with some ungodly bad dice put him solidly behind for no good reason. It
Yep.
never feels good when that happens.
No, that's the worst way to end your event.
Mhm.
I also, from turn 3 on, I had a lot of hard 8s. So many hard 8s. My dice were not bad at any point. That should have been an Andy win. He should have taken that one.
Well, congratulations for surmounting the champion of Adepticon with his own list.
I prefer to do it by playing better, but maybe next time.
But yeah, taking second, only losing to Akers, who took first. Really solid position, and I believe you top 8'd if we were to look at the results, but I don't have time for that, and that's a lot more effort than I feel like exerting.
At it, and I think I got 9th, but doesn't really matter. I haven't been paying super close attention to that sort of thing since I'm not planning at being at lock and load this year.
That's fair. You got some position out of that pile of things. We've succeeded in appropriately assessing the situation. Which brings us now to Mr. McCoyne,
Mhm.
who played these dirty infernal peoples
Apparently, the dirty infernal peoples.
in pod 4, also going 3-1,
Yeah.
taking 5th.
Yep.
Round 1, Ryan, looks like you got Connor Stevens. Oh my gosh, why did you play 3 rounds of Old Umbry?
I was just about to say to you, you could call it Pod 4. I call it the Umbry Pod, because that's just all I was allowed to play against. Apparently, I wanted to
Umbry
test.
Pod and Shirus.
Yes, I wanted to test Vorgroth into Umbry, and God forbid, I got supplied all the fucking Umbry players I could deal with. I caught Connor. Connor walked up to the table. I know Connor. He's my WTC partner. Peyton's local. Connor's a really nice guy. I've known him for 2 years now, or a year and a half now. And I don't think we've ever gotten to play, which was really nice to actually get a game. But Connor walked up to the table and said, "Hey, I'm white knuckling Lumbry this weekend. I literally picked them up before the event." Oh,
Oh dear.
okay. Connor, I don't know that you've ever done this. How familiar are you with Infernals? And he's like, "Well, I played Garrett a few times with him." Okay, here we go.
That's a very different world.
Yep. Um, he did very well considering it was his first time playing Umbry, but I felt very bad because I have crafted the Vorgoroth list to specifically play into Old Umbry. And it did what it was supposed to do. Very well played from Connor, but I put him in an awkward situation on scenario that he couldn't recover from. Every one of my games went very low on points, but decently high on army points. At least some of them. I played Andy in the second round, which was unfortunate. I was hoping there was only 3 or 4 people in the pod, maybe 5 that were what I don't want to, that sounds weird to say, but would consider threats or scary to play into. Andy was at the literal top of that list, playing a faction that I'm not super comfortable into, and is maybe the best player of that faction that we have in the United States right now. No disrespect to any of the other Umbry players. I am testing out my Vorgoroth version with Nestill and Aberration. It's something that a gentleman on the channel named Cody DeMunn and I have actually been working on. He brought up the idea, and I altered it a little bit to my liking, and I've been super enjoying it. Thank you, Cody. But
I don't think I can take credit for that one. I think that started with Blake, but I'd have to go look.
well, then thank you to Blake, and thank you for Cody for passing it on. Either way, take the credit where it's due, you son of a bitch.
Oh, like it is.
I did the math on I put myself in a situation where I thought that I was in a good place. I went up a heavy. I committed some snakes that I wasn't super upset about losing. But I gave him a charge with the starved into aberration. And did the math, not including is it primal? I don't remember the wild aggression, whatever the buff is, the damage buff. And without
Primal.
primal, without the damage buff, he does not kill. He does not kill Abe on dice. He needs some help, which I'm perfectly fine with, even losing Abe in that situation, as long as it's just him and then something else going into it. Well, it turns out that if you add that +2 damage, the math gets really bad really fast. So just mispositioned there, and started doing more piece trading. I ended up having to just started to handing, or wow, tongue tied there. I started having to just hand Andy models to stay in the scenario. Andy killed 103 points of my army. I only killed 36 of his. He went up 10-2. One bad math mistake on that put me in a really awkward situation that I couldn't recover from. Learned a lesson and will not make that mistake again in the future. So now I'm 1-1. As Thomas said, you get to go into the fun brackets. I got to play against one of the Canadian guys. Lucas was very nice. Lucas dropped Shyrus into me, which was something very strange, and it wasn't even a Shrike. But it did have 2 units of Cav, which is annoying. Having looked at them pairing again, I might drop Vorgoroth into this matchup in the future, but I did choose to drop Agathon. And I've also never had this happen to me before. I felt like I was playing Harusk from last year. He legitimately ran on the first turn, and then the second turn positioned out of threat ranges so that he couldn't do as much, and I was ready to score on scenario on Trench Warfare, and he just ran at me again, which was, and Shyrus feeded, obviously. I got to pick up Skilla with my feet for Agathon, which was really nice. I let him have the charge from one of his heavies into the Colossal, and he just couldn't clean it up, and he kind of just clocked himself. I don't think that it was going to go well for him because I don't think he had anything left to kill the Colossal, and it was on 8 or 10 boxes, and he had to put both of his heavies into it. So the Colossal just gets healed by the Cultist unit behind it and just picks up both of his heavies, but unfortunately didn't get to even make that decision. Going into the final round, I got to play against Justin Dew, who was also playing Old Umbry. Justin and I have had a wonderful past. I've gotten to play Justin a few times now, and every time I play him, it just gets more fun and more informative. And we had a really good game talking it through. Justin's a previous Infernals player and a very good one. He confused me a little bit because I was not expecting him to drop Morozov. So I got Morozov with all the summoning boys. And that matchup just because of Vorgoroth, it's too easy for me to pick up his infantry with Soulfire and just rapid firing it, and I out-threat him way too far with the snakes, so that I'm always up peace trading him. And I just put him in a really awkward situation on scenario where he kind of had to full commit and just run at me, and he didn't. He went for the easy play of like score a couple points and then pass it back over. I went up 6-0 and jammed him with my army and threat ranges, saying, "Hey, come deal with this." I made a really cheeky play to kill the unit of hounds with some boosted Soulfires. It got me the edge, and I edged him out of the game. Then we had a wonderful conversation about the matchup, and that was one of my most fun games of the weekend.
I'm really surprised you got to play 3 different casters.
Yeah.
With an Umbri.
Yep. It was interesting.
I'm also disappointed you didn't go with the 4 rounds of Vorgoroth at this point.
I
understand you said you should have.
I should have. I should have. But there's this strange itch, Thomas. I don't know what it is. If I don't play Agathon in an event, my neck gets itchy. I don't know what it is.
I understand
that's
this.
Called addiction. That's called addiction.
Whoa. Let's not throw out words here. Okay? Let's not do that, Eric.
I mean, Ryan, how many times last year did I drop Shadow Tongue just because I was like, I haven't played him. Let's do this.
You're not wrong. I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think if you want to see what real addiction looks like, hey Cody, what's real addiction like?
I don't know what you're talking about.
How many Vorgoroth? Or not Vorgoroth? How many Zadaroth games did you have last year?
Like 300-ish.
Not enough.
not enough.
The reason I'm not playing Infernals this year. I need a break.
That's fair.
Talk to me once you get over the total number of days in a year. Then we're really talking.
He didn't say games. He said Zadaroth games.
Yep. So at the end of those rounds, what was that? What did we even do that night, Eric? I don't even remember what we did.
Is that when you guys played Codenames?
No, that's the next night.
We were extremely tired because we barely got any sleep.
Yep.
So we went back to the hotel. I wanted to just interact with people in the lobby, so I went back down, and Mr. Brad Park decided to press game people into playing Ship Captain Crew with
Gross.
single dollar bills. And talking about addiction, he was able to nab Lakota from the Buffalo Crew, who's just a wee little lad in age, to introduce him to the fine world of gambling. And he won his first game in it, and then he wanted in so much more. And I'm like, so this is how it starts. And it was like me, Brad, Max Lamont, and Lakota, and several other guys. It was funny because Phil from Buffalo came up later, never played Ship Captain Crew before, comes up, freaking rolls Ship Captain Crew and boxcars on a second throw. And I'm just like, all right, well, here you go, Phil. Here's the pile. Just have it now. I walked away losing some money from that, but it was a fun time.
What did you get up to on that Friday night, Cody?
I'm trying to remember. I'm sure we grabbed food somewhere. I think I just hung out for a little while, and we ended up going back to the hotel.
I forgot. That's the night we went to the buffet that's across the street, Eric.
Oh yeah, it was.
Which
it was right after, yeah.
I've been there twice now, and every time I'm mildly impressed with it. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good for what you get.
I have never heard higher praise. I was mildly impressed by the food.
I mean, to be fair,
not satisfied, not really impressed.
I sat down, Thomas, at the table. Eric and I both went to get a plate. Travis waits for us to come back. Eric got 1 1/2 plate of food. Travis got 1 full plate of food and a thing of soup, and that was all he had. I feel like a fat fuck because I'm getting my 4th plate of food, and I'm like, isn't this a buffet? We haven't eaten all day. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Oh, you just didn't take Travis to Who Hot. Going to Who Hot with that man, he's eating 3, maybe 4 plates of Who Hot.
we went back to the hotel room, and Eric's like, I said I'm going upstairs. He said we're gonna go up there, and he's like, yeah, we'll probably come back down. Just I don't remember who we passed in the hallway, and I kind of sniggered. I'm like, yeah, definitely. I laid down on that fucking mattress, and Eric's like, I'm gonna go down. You want to come with? Was all he got. Just a zombie groan.
And that's cute. Go do what you want, Eric.
Yes.
I'll be here. I'm like,
I'm
all right.
sleeping. I'm an old man. Leave me alone. All right. Moving on, Thomas.
Right. Then we move into a team event.
Yes.
So hang on, I'm scrolling, trying to find the first name. Hey, there you go, Ryan.
Ooh.
No fucks given.
Oh, hang on. You can't just say it like that, because yes, that is the name of the team. It's no fox given, but it's no FOCS, because we had 0 focus casters on our team.
I get it now.
Yes, there was a wonderful meme. You can credit, I think, Erica for that one, or maybe Alex. I don't remember who did it, but somebody came up with that one, and it was very funny to me. Unfortunately, I'm just going through the teams we played with. I know Cody's got something to say about his too. Unfortunately, my WTC team got split up because Peyton had already made an obligation to play with his locals. And Chris Gunther, this is his wife's birthday weekend, and they had things like Drunk Shakespeare to go to, which I'm very jealous of that.
That sounds fascinating.
Yes, I've seen videos, and it looks very fun. So we got Alex and Rob, which are 2 of Eric and Andy's locals, who I got to hang out with this weekend. Are wonderful, wonderful people on our team, and I think did incredibly well. Eric, who'd you play with?
I played with our original team before someone abandoned us.
Well,
Ryan.
I was abducted again. This is the second time this has happened. I made no decisions on this. I was told, you're playing for this team now.
Yeah.
To be fair, you always have a decision. You can say no.
Likely story. Anywho, our team
Consent is a thing, Ryan.
Only if you want it to be.
Legally, it's a thing.
Sure. Unless you sign over power of attorney, as I have to Chris Gunther.
Yep.
Well, that's a you problem.
Chris owns Ryan now.
Who's on your team, Eric?
So
and what team did you play on?
Yeah, what's the name?
So I played on the Renegades. This is AM Pricer's team. So AM Pricer's our team captain. It was him, me, Anthony Gibbs, and it was also supposed to be Mark Ewanock, but he couldn't make it out, so we had to sub him in with a local there named Chromac Jack, which he was fantastic. Go ahead.
Which, by the way, I want you to know that I got a message from Pricer on like Monday, trying to beg me to come to Bokur Brawl.
Yeah.
Because he needed a 5th for that team.
Well, it was like, again, unfortunate circumstances happened, and it was almost a last minute drop, and we managed. So the person that replaced Ryan was Mitch. So we got Mitch HD. That's his Discord handle on many of the Discords. But yeah, that was our team.
Cody, I know you have a wonderful little story about your team.
It's not that much of a story. When WTC teams were first decided, it was floated that we would play as a team, and Brad said he wanted to play with the locals, and I was asked to not play with my team to play with the locals, so we both said we were doing that. And somehow that ended up with Brad, Jake, and Brandon on a team.
Locals.
Lone laundromat.
And then Rick, Mike, and Andy decided they were going to play with their team. So it was me, Ryan Schmidt, Phil Marzinek, Adam Morey, and Lakota Striker.
No? I mean, you could have had a worse team. I like all those people.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas. Keep us moving, baby.
All right. So, as is tradition, we have continued the story and era that is Dirty Mike. So Dirty Mike is on his spiritual road to recovery, and we are so happy for him. But he still needs to take accountability for hurting his friends and accept responsibility for his actions. which also goes with the other Dirty Mike team, informing us that he's back from rehab and found new friends that love and support him on his journey to sobriety. So I've officially decided that every event, I'm just looking forward to seeing what's Dirty Mike up to now.
I'm sure there will be plenty more.
That's all I needed in my life, Cody. All right, so Cody, you got 5 rounds here of Dirty Mike playing people.
Let's go. Let's go round by round, if you don't mind, Thomas.
Yep, 100%. So round 1, you guys went 2-3. Looks like
round 1
Cody, you
was
came out on top.
a delightful round, but for all the wrong reasons for Buffalo. So Rick's WTC
curious.
team with 3 of our locals gets the bye. We play into Scary People Scaring People, otherwise known as the other Buffalo team.
Hey.
So there are 9 of my locals in this 5v5 and a Merc.
And who's the one that didn't belong?
It was a Sakura player named Jason.
Jason Alleycat.
All right, well, we're just going to shun him, especially because he won.
But yeah, the pairing process went fine. I played Fire Cool into Agathon, and I shot them off the table, essentially.
As you do.
My king and my Marauders decided to have a very good turn on feet turn, and it just kind of put the nail in the coffin. There was no coming back. They just rolled a table side that they probably shouldn't have.
See, Cody, the faction's just underpowered. Like, it just gets shot off the table. Like, it needs a buff.
Ryan, have I ever told you that you need to go sit in the corner and feel bad about yourself?
Yes, many times you have.
Okay, good. We're going to continue stating this.
So Cody starts out 0-1, unfortunate. Well, 1-0 in himself, but 0-1 as a team.
Yeah, the team goes 2-3. Lost a couple of close games.
Damn.
And then Eric has a similar experience going 2-3, but this time Eric lost. So we can shame him.
Shame!
That's fair.
Shame.
But
apparently Indiana did well for you guys.
Yes,
both your Indiana guys won.
Yes, they did pretty good there. So in the pairing process, I told Adam, that I'm okay going into either their old Umbre or I forget their other caster army they had in that list, but Grimkin I said was like kind of like a hard dodge because the slaughterhouse is super scary. So I ended up getting paired into Justin Dew, and he played his Morzov into my Kishtar. And early on that game, I went up on attrition, and he just we played a very nice, tight game. It was a pleasure to play against Justin for the first time. It's just one of those things where that game ultimately came down to he shifted a big bear onto my 40s because it was fault lines for round 1, and I had like 3 or 4 attacks into him, all hit, and I caused him to tough roll. He made like 2 to 3 toughs. And I'm like, well, that's it. I just needed 1 CP to be back in the game.
Woof.
And yeah, again, he played a very tight game. It was a close one. He won in that scenario. I did pick up a good chunk of his army though. So I feel like if that would have went my way, I think that was a coin flip of a game. It was tight.
I say it looks looking at the score, he took a total of 8 army points from you, and you took 57.
Yep.
So unfortunately, the Renegade. Go ahead.
Yep. Justin wanted to see how Morzov was into Kishtar, and I'm like, okay, like I'll show you like what this typically looks like.
To be fair, Morzov is the right drop into Kishtar.
Yep,
it is, but I think he's better into other good lines as well. Like the Kishtar one's more like 50-50 matchup in my opinion, but that's just me.
That's fair.
So most importantly, the Renegades lost to the Derek Sundstrom Center for kids who can't play War Machine good and who want to learn to do other stuff good too.
I love these names.
So rocking the Zoolander reference there.
Yes, sir.
Then we got the Noah Focus Given. That went 5-0 into Mr. B's Big Lovin' Pajama Snake Portal, which sounds very sexual. Ryan, how sexual did you feel at the end of this?
Well, I got to play a really fun game into Corey, who I got to play at Adepticon as well. And Corey is playing Necrofactorum, and they chose the matchup, but I was told later that they chose the matchup because they didn't know what to do with Infernals, so they were just like, someone has to take the grenade. Corey did it last time. Fuck it, he can do it again. So that's what happened. I killed. We had a slugfest. He was playing more towards the Routh style of the list, where he had a bunch of medium-based infantry with Sepsira. It was fault line. I just went up a decent amount on scenario. We didn't feel super confident in the pairing process, if I remember correctly. It wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, but I know that that was the matchup that I was looking forward to was Necrofactorum. That is one of the matchups I feel very comfortable into. But yeah, we 5-0'd that round.
I'm disappointed that the guy playing on the snake team didn't have a snake in both lists. This is a disappointment to me.
Yep.
All right, let's loop back over to Cody for round 2. It would have been smart if I had memorized these team names.
This one should be familiar.
Cody's dirty.
You
dirty
played
Mike.
Mr. B's Big Lovin' Pajama Snake Portal and went and lost 3-2.
Correct.
Cody,
Yep.
I'm so sad. What happened? You won though. You scenario Jake P like mad.
I had a very fun. I wouldn't call this like mad. It wasn't a
It's up 6 points. It's enough.
Had a very fun game into Jake Palumbo playing an interesting Rassic list. This started the run of not playing Firefall for the rest of the event.
Welcome to
From
my
here on
life.
out, I only play Fulcra. I looked at the Rassic list, and it is essentially Rassic doing the brick thing with double Incarnate Knights, Skilla, and I'm blanking on Mortal Fear.
Riven.
Riven.
Riven, there we go.
Double Death Dealers, double Wind Strikers. What a list of double Drakion.
Yep. He literally
Drakions
just
are
bricks up the
mildly
table.
terrifying as somebody who plays an 80 mil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that die to collateral damage at that power.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very interesting game. It was on Wolves. I was able to set up, I think I went second. I was able to set up to score my 40 and contest his consistently and body block it with Marauders, so it never went anywhere. He just kept ambushing Wind Strikers on, and I had the appropriate setup to keep killing Wind Strikers, which gave me a big scenario lead eventually. And then turn 2, I got to make a play where a frog went up, dragged an Incarnate Knight out of the brick formation, and that made a landing spot for a Perdition Dire Troll to beat Skilla to death.
Nice.
That's how you know you're having a good day, when you just throw a Dire Troll into something.
From 15 inches away, no. That's
From
not true. They don't threat
downtown.
that far, like 13. They only threat 14. They don't go that far.
That's fair. Still pretty far.
But
Oh, is it the
for
1
Dire
inch? Is it the 1 inch ones or the 2 inch?
the ones in the list I'm playing are both 1 inch because the anchor is just a base POW 20.
Yep.
And their
Yes.
job is to hit things very hard.
This is true.
They're POW 20s now?
Yeah, they got both.
Baseline, yes. I still have rage as well.
They're Power 22s. They slap, and then you get your 3 inch melee drag on the other, or the steady, depending on which flavor you want.
Yep.
It's a really nice heavy. It's expensive.
You get what you pay for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, essentially just ground Jake out on scenario. We both still had a decent amount of models on the table, but Arm 20. What do the Knights get up to at this point? 19, 21 for defensive formation,
20.
23 for battle driven, 25 for mortal fear is
Yep.
a little tough.
Yeah.
I tried
At least
feeding
you
the
have your POW
Marauders into a unit
22
of
anchor
Knights
on
at
them.
one point and got to go. And this Marauder hits, and I'm dice off 10, I guess.
Yep.
On my POW 15 charge.
Yep. It's pretty dumb.
That unit of Knights never lost a member.
I wonder why.
They also didn't kill much, but
Yeah, that's fair.
looking here, then Ryan, you played into looked good on paper, and I agree. Their army their list looked good on paper.
All right. So we did a very aggressive pairing process here. And
What?
what?
You're not the Renegades.
Oh, you said Ryan.
You said Ryan.
Oh, well, hold on.
All right,
Pivoting.
Eric.
Pivoting to Ryan. Pivoting to Ryan.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Ryan, you've begun.
Okay.
I'm pivoting.
He said my name. I'm sorry.
We're pivoting to Dead Men Don't scenario.
Yep.
I've done it. I see what we've done.
All right.
Continue, Ryan, with your story.
We paired very aggressively here, but it required somebody taking a bad matchup. One of my bad matchups is Firequill. My army does not deal well with the volume of good shooting, high damage shooting that Firequill can provide with either one of my lists, unless I build a list specifically to counter that. But in a team format, I don't think it's correct. So I got paired into Joe Marion, who had Firequill and I think Boggity Bomb.
Yeah, a lot of people have been picking up Boggity Bomb since Cosmos has been playing it.
I was really hopeful that I was getting Boggity Bombed, even though I knew I wasn't going to. Now, Joe does play a really different version of Firequill than most people. He's got 2 units of the Frog Spear Boys. I can never remember what they're called. Somebody help me.
Fire spitters.
Sure.
He's got doubles, fire spitters, Lockabash, triple boarding party.
Uh-huh.
What is this list?
Yeah, I lost to it.
This is wild.
So one of the things, I love Seth to death. Seth is one of my favorite people, but me and a bunch of people have been telling him for Bokur Brawl now for a couple of years that he needs to get rid of these terrible obstruction logs that are like 3.5 to 4 inches wide by like 8 inches long, but not very tall. The other thing that I hate is that we even called Mr. Rabidoo over to look at it. There's a tower in the middle of the table, and about 7 inches away is this log, and then right in between those two obstructions, there's a fucking 4-inch wall. So there's literally nowhere to go with a Colossal to get through there. We're both playing Colossal lists because I dropped Agathon. I won the roll. I'm sorry, actually, I apologize. Joe won the roll and wanted to go first. And I chose to put him on the side that would force him to deal with the giant log in the tower. Shocking, I know. So Joe spends his entire first turn running his Colossal out and around the log, and then realizes on the second turn that I positioned so that if he comes around that log at all, my Colossal can now charge his Colossal. And he does not like that. He's also not in a good enough position to feat and shoot my Colossal off the table. So he just tries to jam my Colossal and put his in a position that it doesn't die to my Colossal walking to it. Which he does. He jams it well enough with the Lockabash that I can't deal with it. But it turns out Agathon doesn't care, and that if you just feat, you can kill most Colossals. Which is exactly what happened. Agathon feated. I threw a bunch of boosted Hellfires. I threw a Griever CRA, and my Colossal shot. And lo and behold, the Abyssal King didn't exist anymore. The mistake I made in that turn was underestimating the damage output of those stupid fucking frogs with their spears.
I thought I taught you better.
Yeah, but like it's just they're POW 14s. They have stir the blood. That's all they get. But yeah, going into my Colossal at dice off 3, he killed the Colossal with a charging unit of flames, whatever the stupid frog spear boys are, and 2 Lockabash brothers. Just 2. They killed the Colossal by themselves. Joe and I played the Punch Drunk Love game back and forth quite a few times. Unfortunately, with the way I set up and Joe set up, I could not contest his 40 as readily as he could contest mine. I also had a turn where I was silly and did not position my unit correctly to be base to base with the objective. So if I moved it and ticked it up, or if I ticked it up so that he could move it, it would not be in scoring range of the unit for next turn. So I either lose out on a point, or I lose out on the tick up, or I lose out on the tick up next turn. So I fell behind on the tick ups, and Joe eventually cashed in his 40. I ran into a situation where the only thing I could do left in the game was with my last summon that I saved, specifically because I was worried about this. I charged Valen Hawken. I repoed him, then I summoned a Forebodar on top of it, and I had already used my feat, I had no lucky penny, I had nothing, just the baseline 2 boosted damage Hellfires into Joe, and he did have 2 transfers. I was just hoping to kill his light with 1, basically, which I did, get it to a point where it had 2 boxes left, and then the second one did not roll high enough damage to just one-shot Fire Quill. So Joe got the game. Again, I think I did decently well considering it was one of the worst matchups that I could have. But yeah, Joe is an incredible player. Did very, very well for himself, but the team 4 won, so sometimes we got to fall on grenades. And that was me this round.
And you didn't learn from when I killed your fucking the gun carriage.
It's been a while, Thomas. Nobody plays those fucking terrible models.
All right,
It had been long enough that I
got
forgot,
you.
okay?
I got you.
I'm also not
I'm
a
now
good
just
player.
start
What do you want?
terrorizing you.
Also, my
I'm gonna start
Colossal's
terrorizing you
my
with them.
Colossal is just underpowered, obviously. It needs a buff if it can die to a unit of little frog boys. That's what it is.
I'm sorry. Did you just not Thanos snap his his 120 away on
Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda.
I'm listening. I'm listening. Go on.
Jeez, Thomas, let's move on.
So now actually to Eric's game because I'm good at this. So Eric, you guys played looks good on paper. You went 4-1, and I'm really interested in yours, but I'm significantly more interested in a different game in this pairing. So talk about yours first, and then I'm going to completely ditch you.
Oh, that's fair. So I played against Brian. Brian was also playing Infernals, and he had Agathon Vorgoth pairing. So my typical drop into Infernals is my Butcher, because my Butcher has all the spell hate, and he loves seeing Infernals across the table. So he asked me if I played against Infernals before. I'm like, yes, I'm quite familiar. As I stare at Ryan from across the hall, and I look back at my game. So, and the one tip that Ryan has given me against Infernal players is if you can be aggressive against them and get into them early, they have a hard time setting up the rest of their turns later on. And with Butcher, it gives me that aggressiveness to where I can out threat range him for the most part, except for the snakes. The snakes can just go wherever. I cannot out threat them. But I position it in a way to where I had my rocks kind of sitting off to the flank, ready to charge if he ever commits any of his heavies. And I had basically everything all poised, ready to go because I went first that game. He moved up. He didn't check everything with the threat ranges. He left a tormentor within 14 of my rocks and put a snake within I think 2 inches of his tormentor. So I was able to pop Butcher Feet, put Weapon Master on 2 of the rocks, put Weapon Master on one of my other tyrants, and on that turn, I picked up 3 heavies, almost picked up a 4th on my turn 2.
Ouch.
And yeah, Brian came back pretty good in that game, though. Right after that, he came back on scenario hard. Then it was a good back forth. I had to commit Butcher to kill other Tormentor on my 40s. Then it got close to where me and him were both less than 2 minutes on clock. And he saw a scenario win. He went ahead, moved all the stuff, contested what he needed to, then moved Vorgoth over, then clocked it over to me. And with where he put Vorgoth, that was within 12 of Butcher. And I'm looking at my clock. I only have a minute 30 left. And again, me and him were very short on time. So again, given more time, I think Brian would have edged this one out over me. But I was able to charge Butcher into Vorgoth. And yeah, when Butcher gets onto anything with no camp, it's really good. So I took that one on Assassination.
So you guys went 4-1, and the game I care most about is the game that your team lost. Mostly because you guys played Matt Rotunda rocking Temple Guardians, which is fascinating to me. I had a long conversation with Brad Park and Travis Marg on this, and we're both just sitting there looking at these lists going, this is fascinating. So he played his Amanadaraza list into uh, Bradigus.
Yep.
With 4 dervishes, 4 purifiers, and a vigilant. And
Yep.
2 units of flame guard, double monks, 3 vassals, 3 choirs, a rack. Like, I'm just so fascinated that somebody has started playing this army and been making it work.
Oh, they were one of the armies I wanted to drop into, but they, again, Infernals was like pretty much a hard dodge for a lot of folks in the team, so I'm the Infernal drop. Like, they always say
That's
me
fair.
for that one. I wanted that one so bad because all the infantry, and the other list had a ton of infantry too. I wanted it so bad.
The other list is rocking 4 flame guard units.
So bad, Thomas.
I understand, but it's such an interesting list pair. Like, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most unique thing in this entire event. All right, off my entertaining soapbox. Let's talk about round 3, and we're gonna pick up the pace a little bit. Cody, you guys played Lazy Sunday, going 4-1.
Yep, I played into Joe playing Storm Legion Kane, not Gravediggers. This was a bit of a weird one, in part because it was 2 fronts and the terrain on 2 fronts was very, very strange.
Mm.
There was a giant, essentially X-shaped building with a door on every end of it. And when I say giant, I mean it's probably a good 6 inches wide at the longest point. And my 50 is touching the outside edge of it.
Well, that's real easy to contest.
No easier or other, but anything that I'm putting on the 50 is at least 6 inches away from the rest of my army. I have to do a complete split. So I put 1 Dire Troll and my Fugue Walker over there, and the entire rest of the army runs away. Turn 2 Thorga feats and walks them out of control, and that Dire Troll never goes back into control.
This is where I live, and that is all. Robert, you've played a fair amount of Storm Legion Kane. How do you feel about Storm Legion Kane into Thorga?
It would probably be okay. I mean, the thing about the Storm Legion version of him is that probably about half of the list is melee instead of just like the the Gravedigger version where it's all guns. And like Deuce and Big Pig happen to have melee weapons. So like it would probably be okay, but I would not choose to drop Kane into Thorga.
It felt pretty okay for him, but it's part of it was 2 fronts and me having to split the scenario like that being actively a problem. And then he came in on the first turn with shooting his top of 2, I think. I believe I went second. Yeah. And just rolled very well. His Black 13th and Zephyr killed 8 Marauders through duck and cover, rough seas, and concealment stealth.
That shouldn't happen.
He just rolled a lot of star-crossed 8s. It happens, I guess. It's not ideal for me. And my game plan is too hard to push the 40s, so losing most of my unit members top of 2 is a little bit of a problem. So we do it. We do the thing. It's okay. I don't love my long-term prospects because my Marauders are basically all gone, and I have to double score 40s with them for the rest of the game, and they're going to die next turn. So when I get another turn, he puts a 0 camp Kane somewhere I can knock it down and charge it with Bash Bros, so we just do that.
Yep.
Kane does not like auto-hitting POW 18s.
No, he does not.
No, he does not.
Turns out dice plus 5 is good.
Big fan. And let's see, Eric, you played into King of Nothing and
Or
got
Grim King.
killed.
So, talking earlier from our earlier conversation about your caster never wants to be next to a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't by the
Did
drag
you
though. It
did
wasn't
you
by the
also
drag.
get to 0 speed?
No.
Oh, you can't get to
No, I
0
did not.
speed against King of Nothing with Butcher.
Yep.
Yep. So that game was interesting against Sterling. I played against Sterling once before in one of the online leagues. Great guy, really good player, and this was an interesting game because I haven't played against the new revamped Grumkin much. Essentially, that turn, it basically was back and forth. He got Dreadrots onto my Invictus on the 50 side and basically half health Invictus with a Scything Touch charging Dreadrots. He rolled a little bit hot. And I was lazy on my placement with Invictus, so I let that happen. But also, too, I couldn't just let him have free reign with the Slaughterhouse over the middle of the table. So with that, after I started my turn, I won the flanks on my turn 2. I won all the flanks. And it came down to the middle, where the middle he had one more unit of Dreadrots, his Crabbit, Slaughterhouse, Cage Rager, and Death Knell. And I'm just thinking, like, well, I popped my feet already. Butcher is right there. Hunter's Mark can get me in there. Butcher would be at 7 Blood Quench, give or take. And it's one of those to where I'm like, no, what? We're in the fun bracket already. I trust my team to win their games. I'm just gonna full send it in here and see if Butcher lives with like 3 or 2 focus left over. So I go ahead
The
and
answer
do
to that
that.
is no.
Well, spoiler alert. Also, King of Nothing was right there too. So worst case, I was gonna have Sound Maniac onto King of Nothing, but King of Nothing has a rule where as soon as I kill model, he gets to then like teleport or cast a
Mhm.
spell, which he has the Sands like 2-cost spell that he pops a guy and he goes where the guy was in his control range. So my assassination run then failed there.
Yep.
So Butcher's there on like 3 focus at arm 25. I'm like, yeah, he should be mostly safe. He only has Scything Touch. Oh, wait, King of Nothing has Master Ruin. And he teleported back in off of Baron Von Licht. Because, again, he was like on the other side of the board at this point. But he then, I got front doored. Butcher died to the front door.
He let you in. Sad face.
Yeah.
All
He
right.
said, I did the whole, here's Johnny. And yeah.
Johnny said hi back.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, you guys played into Tumescence, which is Sean Hopkins' team. And
Yep.
it looks like you got caned.
That is a misreport by.
Oh, sorry, that says Calder.
Yep. That is in fact Calder. For some reason, that is Calder. Calder is CA as well as Kane for some reason. Kane
No.
and Gravediggers is CA. Calder is CA in Storm Legion for reporting. Don't ask. I don't know. I don't know why. Anyway, I love this matchup. Robert and I, hi Rob, have played this matchup a few times, and it is very good for me usually. But it turns out when you average, I'm gonna say a 5 on 2d6 and like a 7 on 3d6, and this is an actual average, intentionally. For my feat turn, I failed to kill a striker non-shielded warjack with my feet with Agathon. You guys can think about that. It's dice off 4. When I just talked about killing a fucking Abyssal King not that long ago with it, I ended up having to throw a shot from my Colossal to finish off a striker, which is very, very painful. So the dice were not good. It was 2 fronts. I put my Howlers in a tall grass near the double 40s, as well as a unit of Sentinels on that side of the table, and a heavy. to try to just control that. There were 2 houses blocking off the 50s. I put my Colossal on the 50 side and said, okay, I'm going to take this side and just funnel stuff in to contest his. This game went to turn 7. The highlights of this, or the lowlights, I should say, were obviously the feet going terribly, terribly bad. My bad dice. My opponent walked the Black 13th forward on top of 2 and through the Shield Guard, meaning the Umbral Guardian, killed all 3 of my Howlers in concealment. Meaning
Impressive.
needs 7s to hit every time he shoots. I also had them in Valen range and rolled 3 toughs. So you can start thinking about that and how good his dice were versus how bad mine have been. The toughs were like the highlight of my dice rolls. I don't want to go too much into the end of the game, other than to say that it ended 21-20 on turns. He scored 115 points. I scored 74. I do want to throw in a note here for people, and this is me as a person saying this for the game. I'm not going to say the person's name I played. If you want to look it up, you can. And this is not meant to call him out. It's just a thing in general. When you play people, and the game starts to get towards the end, don't start changing the way you play the game, please, towards the end of the game. If you're having a fun, nice game where you've been allowing things like someone to enrage their wyvern, that is not an example from this game because he was playing Signar, but things like that that don't change the effect of the game, continue doing that. And if your opponent offers you those things, you don't have to allow your opponent to do those things back, but it is the courteous thing to do when you've allowed them 2 or 3 things of quote-unquote takebacks to the one time that they made a mistake or missed a rule, to not just rub it in their face. Again, I'm a WTC player. I need to be better at the game, but I do think that changing your opinion later in the game like that is just a dick move to do. And that's unfortunately, I was a green matchup in this. I think that Storm Legion is a really good matchup. And I did not, one person does not lose a team around. That was the first thing that they told me. But when you go into a green matchup and you lose, it feels really, really bad. So I do feel that I let my team down on this one. Unfortunately, we lost the round 3-2.
It's sad.
Very sad. Yep.
Cody, you in round 4 got to play against Kane's premature assassination problem, which I believe they have medication for now.
What a wonderful name.
And you got to play into Stormcraw. So a little troll v troll action.
Max, this was my first game in the Kith Guard, so it was interesting. Happy to start getting reps into them. I essentially, did I get to go first? I believe I went first in this one, if memory serves. And essentially, I got to set up, he feeded bottom of 1 so that he can bring everything on at full activations bottom of 2. And because it's high stakes and I didn't have to flood the middle, I essentially got to present scrappers with 2 steady heavies and lock of Ash Bros and go ahead, charge whatever you want. Scrappers need trash to kill things, and everything they have been offered is steady. So they tried, and it didn't go very well. When we ground out attrition, and I ended up having a heavy more than him at the end of the day.
You had a lot. Looks like you had a lot more than him. 86 army points to 13.
I want to say that was slightly deceptive. This is one of the games where I just had like 1 or 2 members of every unit left on the table. But yeah, I ground him out on attrition, and I think ended up winning scenario because he ran out of models, rather than because he had a scenario problem.
Makes sense.
Well, running out of models is kind of a scenario problem, Cody, to be fair.
Yeah, fair, but you know what I mean.
I know, I'm just fucking with you, Cody.
It was a very good game. It was very pleasant to play.
How did the round go, Cody? Did you guys win that one?
Yes, I know we won that round. I think we won it 3-2. That might have been a 4-1.
Nice.
Double check.
It was a 4-1.
It was a 4-1, yeah.
Very nice.
And then Eric, you guys lost to those that are undiagnosed and breedable.
Yes. I got to play against a fellow named Jordan Fox. Long story short, I have history with Jordan Fox. A long time ago, a couple years back, Seth asked if people in Chicago were playing, and he had one of his locals, Jordan, flying out to Chicago. And I connected with him. I got him set up in our Windy City Discord and stuff like that. And again, it was one of his very few first games back. and he loved the game after he went to one of the local steamrollers. I think you were running, Ryan,
I
if
did.
I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was nice to finally meet him in person. Awesome dude. Um, so he dropped his Morzov list into my Kishtar list. And again, normally this is a 50-50 mashup. He had a Gorger in his list. And he put the Gorger up aggressively his turn one. I went first in this game. So I then measured everything out. So I had my 2 gunboat tyrants in range, plus a Invictus shot and one of my Jackal shots into the Gorger. I'm like, I think it's time to go like full gun. I cast gun and I go up and I just start docking the Gorger and cue like missiles and all the bullets into a kaiju. And yeah, I downed that Gorger real quick. Top of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Then
solid.
yeah, just that game got grinded down, and now with me playing the matchup and seeing how this went, the little support solo that does Starcross needs to die first, and there was
Zana.
opportunity. Yep,
Mhm.
there was opportunity for me to kill her a turn earlier that I really needed to, and I just forgot to cast guidance, and it was one of those
Oh.
where me and him were playing a very clean game back and forth, and I try to hold myself to a standard to where, like, yes, I knew that's what I wanted to do, but I went out of order my activations. I'm not going to do that because that changes the whole course of this game if I did that. So it ended up being a very grinding scenario, and similar to my Justin Do game earlier in the day, I just failed to kill a single model to have me be able to score to get back into the game by 1 point. I ended up losing by 3 control points here. So, yep. Again, dice are dice.
Yep.
It happens.
This is true. Now, Ryan, your team, your fucks have been given, and your fucks have been won. Thou hath beaten Riker and his
Oh, hang
rejected
on.
children.
Hang on. Before we do that, we did 3 rounds the first day and 2 rounds the second day. Which, by the way, I don't know, Cody and Eric, how you guys feel about it, but I felt that was like the perfect amount of games. That was beautifully set up, in my mind.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's a good split.
So we had plenty of time. We went and grabbed dinner. We went to the little Mexican restaurant around the corner. We went with Travis's entire WTC team. Myself, Eric, Cody. Cody joined as well. Who else was there? Akers was in that room with us.
So there are a couple more Buffalo people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Phil was there. Was Phil there?
I don't think Phil
I
was
think
there.
Phil and Lakota were both
Was he?
there, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of us that went out to dinner. The food was wonderful. We ate. We got back to the convention hall. We played some board games, some stuff we'd never done. Andy, if you listen to this, Mammals 4, just for you, sir.
Damn. Emotional damage.
There was a group of like 10 people that were seriously emotionally invested into playing a children's picture game, which was very entertaining, to be perfectly honest with you.
Codenames is a fucking amazing game. Do not knock that game.
Also, seeing Akers as flustered as he was worth every minute of sitting there. All right. After that, I think we just went back to the hotel and went to bed. Now you can continue, Thomas. I had to interject with that.
I don't know, but you've also confirmed for me that I'm grabbing my copy of Codenames and bringing it to Siege.
Let's do it, baby.
Oh God, no, not again.
And this isn't the one with pictures; it's the one with words.
Okay.
I don't know how to read.
So you were saying
that's a you problem.
You were saying about Riker's team. Keep going.
You guys surpassed Riker and his rejected children.
We did.
However, it looks like you. Oh no! Wait, hang on. You won this. Never mind.
Did win this.
I can read colors.
We got paired, and this is another one of those rounds where Andy and I were doing the pairings together, and Andy looked at me and he said, "There's a really solid chance that you end up being the grenade here again." And I was like, "You know what? Let's do it." So we gave them the opportunity to put me into a green matchup, which was, I believe, the Chimera player. or the red, the literal worst matchup I can play, which is Gravedigger's Cane. And of course, they put me into Gravedigger's Cane. I get to play against Akira, who is from Atlanta. He's one of my friends. He's a very good person. We were both struggling at this point after just bending over these small tables and both having back troubles. Akira far more than myself, and I felt really, really bad. So we set up on the table. We get everything going before everybody else. We got the game going quickly. I run up on my turn 1. Akira runs up on his turn 1 on top of, or I'm sorry, he goes first. I chose the side I liked. Akira camps 5, casts Blur on himself, and stands Cane on a hill. The literal first thing that I did was measure 21 inches from a forebodar. And Cane is well within 21 inches of my 1 forebodar. So just, sitting there thinking about it, doing the math in my head. It's, you need boosted signs importance, rerollable 13s to hit him because he's base 17 on a hill, goes to 19, 21 defense with Blur. It's it's not terrible, but it's something every now and then you got to go for. And
Did you have a hill to stand on?
I did not have a hill to stand on, but he did. So I ran I got everything, all the buffs out that I need to get for Agathon, ran the forebodar forward. Didn't even think about scenario, putting models to score things, which was probably a mistake. But I ran forward and fucking killed Cane. I don't know what else to say. I missed the first 2 throws of the Hellfire, hit the last one, rolled a 1-2-2 on the first damage roll, and if you fail really badly like that with the first to hit and the first damage roll, you can always just back out, and all you've given up is your feet and a forebodar. I know that sounds like a lot, and it is, but you can still play the game at least. But I rerolled the damage roll, and the damage roll was 664.
Pretty solid.
So the second Hellfire just killed him and ended the game, unfortunately, on bottom of 2. After the game, Akira and I talked about it. It's not a matchup that he was super familiar with, and he asked, how do I survive that? I told him that the trench that's like 8 inches over to the right of Cane, if he's standing in that trench, it's boosted signs importance 15s, and I'm probably not going for it. And then you just win this game. So the only other things in the rounds that really popped up was I walked around and watched some games. Riker had a really good game with Alex. It was really interesting to watch. But when I walked over to Erica's table, they had one of those 3D printed score trackers. And I'm sitting looking at it as I sit down and then looking at the board state. And the reason I'm so confused is Erica looks like she's doing really, really well. She's playing into Michael, Dr. Spiders, playing Infernals. She's playing Grimkin. But the score tracker says 7-1 for Michael, and I'm just like, I don't understand how in high stakes, when the cashes haven't even gone down or the points haven't even gone down yet, how it's 7-1. Well, unfortunately, or apparently they weren't using that score tracker, so they scared the living hell out of me for nothing. Erica did end up winning that game. I think did we go 3-2 or 4-1, Thomas? I don't remember.
You went 3-2. Erica won, Andy won, and you won.
Yep. Andy won decently early. I won really early. And then we were kind of watching Erica's game, and on the turn that I sat down, where I thought it was 7-1, she went in with a Skin and Moans. The Skin and Moans killed the Colossal by itself, which is a Guardian, which makes sense. It's like POW 25. She's playing Heretic. She sent the Cage Rager into a Tormentor. It killed the Tormentor and did some decent damage to the other guy. And then Isaiah went in and finished it off. So she killed like three battle group models in a turn, including a Colossal. It was very impressively done by Erica. But yeah, it was a great round from us. Riker should have probably played with his WTC team, I think. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get to. But it was a lot of fun playing that team. They're great guys.
Yeah. All right, moving into the final round. Cody, you guys played into some team. Ram Jam, and you went 5-0.
Yes. I only know how one of the other games went because it was somewhat memorable.
Okay, well, if your game wasn't memorable, tell me about the memorable one.
My game was, go over mine real quick. I played into, I just clicked the wrong button and I'm blanking on his name.
Keith Baker. McCoy.
Keith Baker, yep. And he had not played in 2 Trolls yet, with Gravediggers at least. So he did not fully internalize the threat ranges I gave him when he asked for them, and he essentially flipped the threat range on 2 of my units.
Ooh.
So I got to have Thorga slam the feet button and then take 2 Valiants and 2 full units of Rangers on my first boarding turn.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And that was and pop
Oh.
the payload on top of 3.
Okay.
Oh,
And that was the
Ow.
game, as you might expect.
yeah, 100%.
All right, so what was the interesting game then?
Maury said he won his game into Mike Ireland because he accidentally let, I believe it was Virus and a Griffin, get to Sakura.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the synergy chain, she toughs the last 3 Virus attacks.
Oh my God.
And is then able to kill Virus because he's standing there in melee on 0 camp.
On 0 camp. Oh my God, dude. That's not even
beautiful.
fair.
And she's no knockdown tough because I think she's base steady and Kroll gives her the tough bubble because she's a mana war.
Yep.
Yep,
Oh my God.
that's beautiful.
That's horrendous. That's not beautiful.
That one was a bit of a steal.
Ugh.
So you guys ended 3-2, taking 14th out of 31 teams.
There is one more round, sir.
That was round 5, sir.
That was round 4, sir.
When you started talking about dinner, we were on round. I was about to talk about your round 4.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I interjected my own round 4. Whatever. Oh well. All right, keep going then.
Eric, your round 5, you guys played against Riker's Rejects again.
Yes, and this is the second time this team has come up in this cast.
Within a round.
Yes, I was super happy. It was just funny because in the pairing process, it came down to me and Chromatic Jack getting to pick our last 2 matchups, and it was in between Mr. Riker and Dr. Spiders. I look at Jack and I stare at him. I'm like, all right, buddy, I'm going to leave this up to you. Who would you want to play against? And he's like, well, I don't like the Infernals because I don't have much play into them. So I'll take the old Umbre, which is Mr. Riker. I'm like, okay, that is your decision. Good luck. And I go to my table to go play Dr. Spiders. So to preface it, this is getting later on in the day, and both me and Ryan have a flight to catch. And we have like a hard time to like,
Right.
we had to leave.
Hang on. I walked up to
Yeah.
Travis and Eric because they're both riding with me in the rental car back to the airport before the round and said, because Seth took an unexpected lunch break, and said to them, guys, it's like 12:30 right now. We're not going to be done with the pairing process and stuff till, or it was 1 o'clock. I'm sorry. We need to leave at 3. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts, need to be in the vehicle and driving at 3, or we will not make our flight. That was the preface to the round.
Yep. So I then told Dr. Spires, like, hey, I'm super excited to play against you. However, though, like, I have my own hard stop time. So whatever, even if I'm winning the game, I'm going to concede at that point because I need to peg up models and go. He was completely understanding of that. He agreed to that. So he was aware of that situation. Luckily enough, our game did not take that long because he did not get many reps into Orgoth Butcher as I have into Infernals. So it was Vorgoth versus Butcher again. And I positioned my Assault Reavers pretty aggressively in the middle because I always love to run them up, duck and cover them. So they're def 17, and they're super annoying to deal with, especially once I get into your lines. So he moved up a Greer Swarm in order to tag them. And he asked a bunch of different threat ranges, but he never asked what Butcher's was. And he put the Greer Swarm, like the lead guy, within 14 Butcher after he shot my one Assault Reaver dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to, on my top of 2, run my Arc Node over, catch that Griever within 10. I Lucky Penny, feed it on Butcher, hit the Hunter's Mark on the lead Griever, and then just sent Butcher in. Butcher basically was like solo cav charging into a whole army at this point. I'm like, well, I die here, or I just am next to Vorgroth at this point with a couple dice of worth of blood quench tokens. Butcher ended up killing 12 models. 2 of them were heavies. The only reason why the chain ended is because freaking Orin Midwinter and his self-sack shenanigans.
Yeah,
Freaking hate that model.
you talk to Pac-Man through the Orin unit. I've gotten Butcher with that before.
So annoying. Oh, I can just rush. Oh, wait, you have freaking whatever it is to spend the soul to go ahead and wipe out the spell. So much utility in that unit. Anywho, so I have Butcher basically after the repo, like just a hair outside 2 inches of Volgaroth, like behind the wall, and I'm in Dr. Spire's deployment zone.
At
Like,
12 blood quenched. Yep.
Yep, at 12 blood quench, camping 2 focus. And I just jam everything else. The Assault Reavers went up to go jam stuff like that. So I forget his thought process. I think he was going for the butcher kill, but the dice like he started to roll it out, and like he was gonna do like jackhammers after summoning a soul stalker in, like get hollers to Grievous Wounds me and stuff like that. But it just, with me being at armor 30, it's so hard to hurt Butcher at that point. And he already committed Volgaroth at that point into that plan. So Volgaroth's within 2 of Butcher. So I ended up, he ended up calling it there. So we ended the game, took it on the concession.
Yep.
From Dr. Spiders. Again, we talked it out more and more, and I told him like the same advice Ryan gave me when I was playing against the other Infernal player, or before I played against other Infernals, is if I get to jam you up and get to dictate the level of engagement first, that's what I need to do against an Infernals player, because I mess up your whole machine.
Yep.
So
And
after that, me and him.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, me and him did a jersey swap, so I got to get one of the Riker Rejects jerseys, which I was super happy with, and he got my one hoodie.
And then, so you guys ended up just 1 spot above Cody's team at 13th. So then to round it out, round 5, Ryan, you guys got to play into your traitor Peyton.
Yes, we did. I walked up to the pairing process, and I walked over to Peyton, and I said, hey, I'm not trying to meddle with the pairing process, but as a friend that has to leave, and I explained the leaving situation, if you and I could not play against each other, because Peyton and I have a history of playing each other and playing to fucking turn 7 every fucking time, if we could do anything else, that would be great for me. And Peyton says, I'll do my best. Well, guess who the fuck I ended up playing? Shocker, it was Peyton. None of Peyton's team wanted to play against me. Peyton and my matchup for Chimera and Infernals, we disagree on the winning ability of that matchup. Because I have it listed as a green, and Peyton, I believe, has it listed as either a high yellow or a low green. I have played a lot of it as some of my best friends play Shadowflame Shard, and so I get a lot of very high-level reps into it, which makes me very, very happy. The Lilith matchup is better than I think people give it credit for, because most of the Shadowflame players end up dropping Lilith into me with, the first time, and then realize, okay, this is awkward and not fun, let's play something else. Peyton knows better and dropped his Valix Trike into me. He was very much expecting me to play Agathon. I did not, mostly because the table was, if anyone's ever been to Bokur Brawl, and I will do my best to put a picture up on the video for this, anybody that's been to Bokur Brawl knows that Seth and Steve love their little L-shaped, like, broken house walls. It's like a 4-inch by 4-inch triangle wall with a template. There were 4 of these on this table. There was a large cylinder that was 6 inches round, and there were a bunch of trenches. And 2 pieces of rubble. So, like, Agathon trying to kill... Generally, my game plan with Agathon is that I kill your Hunter's Mark Vipex. Well, it turns out that the base defense 14 model sitting in a trench, rubble, or whatever, needing boosted 9s to hit, makes it so that the damage doesn't get as far. And Agathon's not as good. Also, Agathon doesn't like trikes. So I just said screw it and played Vorgoroth. Peyton and I just piece traded it out, kind of two drunk boxers punching each other, staying really, really close on score and really, really close on pieces. But it turns out that Infernals just has more points than other factions. Shocking, isn't it? Especially when you're playing a caster that just gives you an extra summon. Peyton killed 98 points of my army. I killed 90 points of Peyton's army. I can't tell you the last time that a game ended like that for me. Unfortunately, Peyton got to the point where he could no longer, he had just ran out of models to contest. I mean, 98 points. I think he had Valix and I don't even know what his 2-point model would be. So, I'm sorry, he had 10 points of model. So, I think it was like Belagul and some Venom Worm Spine Duders or something. I don't know. But at the end of the game, we got done and we're having a conversation as I'm like packing models and stuff, trying to like run out of the hall because Eric is done, Travis is done, and we're trying to leave. As far as the pairing process went, we did really, really well into Peyton's team. And again, Thomas, I'm sure you have it up. I think we 5-0'd them.
You 5-0'd them.
Yep. Peyton, after the game, specifically said that he was hoping that his team would do 3-2 at the high end and was more expecting a little lower. And I making it to the X1 bracket like that was very impressive from them. I give them all the credit in the world. Not that they're bad players, but not super familiar with the team format and traveling like that. They did very, very well.
Mm-hmm. And you guys finished that event up in 5th place, 4-1.
Yeah, our tiebreakers sucked.
So,
but Thomas, I do want to point out one stat that matters a lot to us. If you looked at games won, Thomas,
was it all? Did
the individual games won? The first team, Fuck Mammoth, which is Brad, Jake, Brandon, Jeremy Posner, and Rich Owens, won 22 games. We won 19, which was the highest at the event outside of the first place team.
you guys tied K-pop Demon Hunters.
That's right. We tied Nate's team with it. Yep. So
super sad.
Yep.
Cody didn't get to play against that team.
Yep. We
Nate and I
did,
talked about it. It's very unfortunate.
we did very well as a team. To lose 6 games is heartbreaking, but not something insurmountable. We had two mercs on our team. Both of the Owls did really, really well. Rob and Alex are wonderful people, and I would play with them again tomorrow.
Are you telling me that there's a 5-man event tomorrow? And
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Sad. Sounds like a better Tuesday than I have planned.
We did end up making our flight. No thanks to Travis. Travis decided that was the correct time to use the restroom, and Eric and I were sitting in the truck like, please God, hurry.
We gotta go.
All right, so that was the end of the Bokur Brawl. 3 days of games. 9 games over the weekend?
Yeah.
Yep.
So good job to everybody who went and played. Obviously, Robert and I did no such thing, much to, I think, multiple people trying to ask me.
Yeah.
And I think Robert was trying to get cajoled by Mr. Park.
Yep.
Yeah, Brad was trying to rope me into coming, but I wasn't going to be able to swing it on such short notice.
I am curious, Thomas. I have 2 things that I want to ask. Is Cody, and I know I went X and 2 at the event. So 7 and 2 at the event. What did you end up going, Cody?
8-1.
You're a fucking animal, Cody. Eric, what'd you end up going?
I ended up going 5 and 4, but I would say 2 of those games were still coin flips. So
that's fair.
5 and 4.
No. That wasn't like calling out Eric. I was just curious what we ended up going. And then the other the other thing I wanted to bring up was my team and I talked about it a little bit in our breakdown. If you guys remember at Adepticon, there was a higher amount of Shadow Flame than anything else. Lilith was extremely overrepresented. So was Brian's were decently high up there. At this event, if you look at the breakdown, I'm going to run through it real quick, was Umbri 24, Dusk 16, Orgoth 15, SFS 14, Gravediggers 12, Kithgard 9, Storm Legion 9, Grimkin 8, Wintercore 8, Brine Bloods 8, Necrofactorum 7, Crucible Guard 5, which was interesting, Infernals 4, Dark Ops 3, Cock 3, and then the rest of the other factions 2 and 1. Any of that stuff jump out at you, Cody?
No, not particularly.
The
A little
24?
surprised to see that match Kithgard when their boxes aren't all out yet, but I know people have been excited to actually get their models and get them on the table.
That's fair.
I'm a little surprised to see Brine Bloods. Not that my name is Cody, but I'm interjecting anyway.
No,
so
please,
deal
go
with
ahead.
it.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised to see Brine Bloods drop that significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Just based off of everything, and I'm also just kind of surprised to see Storm Legions up at almost double digits.
I mean, Winter Core too in the same spot. Hey Rob, are you surprised to see 24 Umbry players?
No, not really.
I mean, it's 6 more players than the next most played faction at the team event. That's crazy. To me.
Eight more
Eight.
players.
8. I'm sorry, math is hard. Leave me alone.
People really like Umbry. It's,
I mean, you're not
very
wrong.
thematic army,
Umbra
and
also has a
it's
very
kind of what we
deep
have.
staple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, have I ever
Kind of what we
introduced you
have
to
for-
bears?
Yeah, but Umbry is currently what we have instead of basically like good Kador and/or Circle. So
That's fair. I was decently happy with the Grimkin turnout. I mean, considering that 3 factions just got a decently sized change in Infernals, COC, and Grimkin. Grimkin doubled, or was more combined than the other 2 changed factions, which is interesting.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that have just switched to them
Oh yeah,
because they're
the new hotness.
either unhappy or interested.
I mean, the house is
Also-
silly.
Yeah, the elf in the room there is that slaughterhouse is a little bit bonkers right now.
Yep. So I told somebody that I would do it because I've been touting this for a minute. In my opinion, and this is something I wanted to run by our guest because I want his opinions on it. I don't think that there's super overpowered casters in the game right now. I know that people can make the argument that Boomhowler, or not Boomhowler, excuse me, Firequill and Lilith have incredibly high win percentages across the board, meaning generally when a caster has a high win percentage and as many games played as those casters do, the caster's overpowered because good players and bad players are, I shouldn't say bad players, good players and lower MMR players are doing really well with the caster, meaning that the caster is just strong. But I don't think that either one of them is going to control the meta. I do think that there's a couple groupings of models in the game that are ridiculously overpowered. And like I said, I mentioned to someone that I would talk about this. I'm going to run through these real quick, and I'm going to go one by one, and I'd like all of your guys' opinions on them real quick. The most overpowered model in the game, it's been mentioned multiple times in this whatever we're going to call this video. And again, I'll throw a picture up for you with a rule page on it as well, is the heavy machine gun crew for Gravediggers. Quick rundown, it's 3 points, which is obscene. It's D3 plus 1 volume, fire, rat 6, POW 12 shots, with easy ways to get that plus 4 damage in the lists that it's being played. It's blast resistant, always has cover, base defense 13, 5 boxes with tough. It also has the ability to see through stealth with its first shot and apply flare on its first shot, so removing stealth for the turn. And it has sentry fire. So even out of activation damage, if you charge it with having pistol, it can still deal damage to you. All of that for 3 points is absolutely insane. Anybody got thoughts?
it is single-handedly holding Gravediggers up right now.
I don't want to freaking hear it. Like, I've been
Well, that's
touched by them
single-handedly,
one too many
but-
times.
What was that, Cody?
I don't know about single-handedly, but it's a very strong model.
Yep.
None of the combination of rules on it don't do anything that feels inherently unfair. It just happens to be a very strong 4-point solo that doesn't cost that much.
3
point.
point solo, sir. 3 point solo.
Yes, that's the joke. I'm saying it should be 4. at
It should be
least.
5.
4 is probably fine. A lot of the really strong interactions take a lot of resources to buff it up.
Fine.
Which
Thomas,
gets to an
I
absolute nightmare with an ammo crate and Calamity, but that means you have to give them ammo crates and Calamity.
I mean, what else are you using ammo crates on? That's what they're there for.
I mean, so here's the thing. Looking at Gravediggers, I would argue they are single-handedly keeping the faction above a 40% win rate, because if you take out Brandon's games, the army drops down to, I believe, like a 44% win rate.
So Brandon's the problem. Got it.
So Brandon is currently
Jesus
keeping
Christ.
the army
All right.
close to even, and
All right.
the machine guns are keeping the rest of the players able to win some.
We'll agree to disagree on that one, Rob. The second model that I feel, and again was told to mention, that I think is overpowered and shifting the game a little bit, is, we just talked about Grimkin. It's the house. The ability, and specifically the amount of damage that it can do. It easily, trivially gets to POW 25s. Has 3 initials and 5 purchases with Fury. It's a little obscene on that, but the really broken part is there's no counterplay outside of cheap and expensive shield guards to the door pulling you in, which most factions don't have access to cheap, useless shield guards. So even when it's pulling things in, like Orgoth, it's killing a decent model. Go ahead, Thomas. I'm sorry.
Let's go to the further thing of before I set Robert off on the rant I know he desperately wants to go on. And I will happily let him go on this rant. Is I don't think the house by itself is an issue, because you can negate the gun to an extent.
Explain.
You know, it hold on. It's not a, you can have a shield guard, you can not, you can get high enough def to deal with it. It's when you play it in Old Witch and you have Divinator plus Grave Ghoul rerolls on top of boosting that it gets more egregious.
I mean, sure, but you could change the Old Witch rules because of that one model, whereas those rules aren't broken with all of the other models in the faction, or you could just fix the broken model.
Right. I'm just saying that it beyond that, I don't feel that the house is anywhere near as egregious.
I mean, so the 2 things that you listed as easy ways to negate it. Most factions, when you're bringing a shield guard, that shield guard is inherently expensive, right? There are a few factions that have inexpensive, easy, sacrificable shield guards, and in those matchups, obviously, the house is not great. But I'm just going to use an easy example that is Orgoth, because it's the one that gets brought up, because they bring a bunch, 2 to 3 shield guards. If you're giving away the shield guards that you're giving away to sacrifice for the house to pull them in, you're not real happy about losing those models for the shield guard. Those shield guards are meant to be shield guarding multiple shots a game, not just getting eaten by a house that, even when it does pull that shield guard in, there's a solid chance that it's not going to die in recourse. Usually when something does that, it dies. The house is sitting there like, nah, I'm not going to die. But most factions don't have that ease of shield guards. Also, the high defense thing, like, most heavies in the game don't get above defense like 14, and needing a boosted 9 with a reroll, that's not super crazy.
2 rerolls. You get 2 rerolls.
Okay, sure. You get what I'm saying.
Mm.
All right, Rob. What's your rant, Rob? I'm excited to hear.
Oh, I mean, it's the house. It's the fact that each turn Grim can get 1.5 feats for 3 turns of the game. It's all of these things together. Like the house, you look at it, and it's a decent model by itself. The Into the Light's really cool. It's really strong, but just on its own, it's just okay. But you start stacking, you go, it gets +1 to hit and damage, or your opponent gets -1 to damage you, -1 to hit and damage, or potentially even minus. I think it's -2. Is it Cariana? Or is Cariana plus? So yeah, you also can get another +1 to hit and damage with Cariana dying. Like, you get Enrage, you get +2 arm from the
Corpse
death
guard.
knell.
Yep.
Yeah, you can, like, potentially, if it's living and you're taking Zacchaeus, like whatever's trying to kill its living, you can get -2 to damage from that. From Breathtaker. So it's just they can stack all of these buffs, and I think you can get to arm 25.
Yep.
Effectively, and that's just
arm 25, and you if you try to charge it and you don't have Pathfinder, you're fucked.
Well, even without
that, because it's a 5-inch bubble of rough terrain and -2 defense on a 120 base.
Yep. It's got its own hit
And
fix.
combine that with
That's not
Labyrinth.
the rant I was expecting, Robert.
I don't know what rank you were expecting. I got
Alright.
a lot of things I can say about
Alright.
Grimkin.
I thought we were gonna go down the Fury rant about it being Fury 5.
Oh God, no,
That's
that's
also
a
broken.
sure. I'll do a short rant. There's a huge disparity between Gargantuans and Colossals right now because Gargantuans get either 4 or 5 Fury, and Colossals are stuck at 3 Focus. Gargantuans bring utility with their Animi. Colossals don't have Animi.
Hey Rob,
are
my guardian
would
gets
be
4.
crippled.
Gets 4 essence.
That's not a Colossal or a Gargantuan. It's a Colossal horror. Thank you very much. But like the
Fine
War
print.
Cats are just currently inherently significantly weaker than their beast equivalents, and they're no longer point costed for that difference. The Slaughterhouse is 26 freaking points.
Yep.
Like
It's pretty
I have to
cheap.
pay, I think, a minimum of 30 for a Maelstrom, maybe 29, one of the two. But like I'm paying for that, and I'm getting, I don't know, less than half the value of the Slaughterhouse for taking that model. Like,
Yep.
I'm
Alright.
gonna get off the box now.
Cody, house thoughts. Swing 'em.
Aside from Into the Light being a rule that should never have been printed, which will get nerfed whenever they do the next balance update, January probably.
Yep.
The house is very strong but fine. I actually agree with Rob that a lot of the problematic things in Grimkin or super strong things are just independent of the house.
Yep.
Arcana are incredibly strong, and they were always balanced around the fact that your opponent had to trigger them, and now that you just get to walk up and pick the 2 that are active.
Yep. It's not a cantrip anymore. It's just happens.
Yeah. It also, Old Witch specifically wasn't designed for Arcana, and Sacrifice on her is kind of obscene.
Yes.
I had to take an assassination run on her the other day, and I killed a colossal worth of Old Witch and left her on 3.
Yep.
I only did 56 or something.
I-
That wasn't quite good enough.
I was gonna say somebody just told me the other day about doing like 62 damage to, effectively 62 damage to Old Witch, and she didn't die, which is obscene.
Yeah.
All right. The last one, the last broken model is not a specific singular model. It is a unit. It is a character unit. Everybody knows where the next fucking part of this is going. The Lakabash brothers need a nerf. Holy fuck, that unit is obscene. Yes, I know, before somebody says it, because they're going to say it. The damage output isn't good. It doesn't fucking have to be. We're playing in a
In
stupid
what fucking
scenario
world is the
meta.
damage output of that unit not good?
I mean, that's the
The
argument
world
that
they
gets.
don't get to charge, but also sometimes they charge until a heavy.
Yes,
So
that is the argument
Yeah.
that gets brought up
Mhm.
occasionally, Thomas. Yeah, after I just
you
mentioned,
charge them and they kill a fucking wyvern if they
yeah,
want.
I know that's what I'm just talking about. They literally charged my colossal and did like 22 damage to it. But no, I mean it is an unmovable unit. It's insane. You can put them on a scenario, they can literally not activate for the rest of the game as long as they're on a scenario point, and they're accomplishing something that no other unit in the game does. Cody, you just mentioned. Good.
They are a tenth of the army, so
Yes.
it's reasonable for them to be incredibly durable. They're probably a tiny bit too durable.
Yes. Change its shield wall. That's all you gotta do. I mean, you just
I
mentioned.
don't even think you have to change Unbreakable Wall. It's Unbreakable Wall plus set defense plus being 13.
Sanguine Bond.
And Sanguine Bond.
Sanguine Bond.
I was getting there. There's a lot of defensive rules.
There's just so many
Look.
things we gotta talk about.
And I
He's
don't think
getting
they're obscenely too
Anticipation.
good. I think you just need to dial them down, something down slightly, like -1 arm, lose set defense, something like that.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Most of the time, what ends up happening to them with me in my experience is somebody commits a reasonable amount of resources to kill them, and they're all on 1 now.
Yes.
Or one of them died because he failed the one top check I had to roll.
So Cody,
Which makes me think they should just be a tiny bit squishier.
My opinion changed on this unit when I walked my Guardian of Souls over to this unit after cursing them with Elaine Runewood and left all 3 alive on 1 box.
I'm fairly certain you rolled poorly, or he rolled a lot of toughs.
He rolled a lot of toughs.
That's just the tough no knockdown experience. That
yes,
Shield Wall has done the same thing.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. But yeah, it's just that unit is just obscene. Those are my 3 models, 3 model/units that I think are obscenely overpowered in the game that I was asked to mention. I do want to ask the question: is there anything I should be adding to that list?
I have a story about the Lakabash brothers.
Of course you do.
Just to add to Ryan's desire to get them nerfed.
Yes.
So I played Thorga into Firequill. This was not under Thorga feat. This was he had an Abyssal King. I applied, and by applied I mean I ran the unit of Lakabash into the Abyssal King. He spent his entire turn spending the Abyssal King, Firequill, a Reef Troll, and a Marauder Crew unit to remove my Lakabash brothers.
Yeah, that sounds, in the words of Cody, that sounds like a reasonable amount of models, right, Cody?
What was that? At least like 50 points of
It
models?
was over half his list. Yes.
Yeah,
Reasonable,
so,
right,
like,
Cody?
Gotta put the right tools in. They're a little too durable.
Oh my
oh,
god.
man.
There's a conversation to be had about something being above the curve being okay. Every army has something above the curve. It's okay for that to happen.
Sure. I don't disagree. I do. I was asked about the cav in Chimera 2 because people think that unit is above the curve at this point and kind of needs the back down. That getting the +1 armor was huge, and having Dauntless on Kyrax makes them stupidly armor 24 tough, no knockdown. Like there's 10 boxes armor 24 tough no knockdown is kind of silly if we're being honest.
Actually a point I was going to make when we were talking about the house that
Yep.
slipped my mind was a big part of the reason doing so well is for the last, I don't know, 2 years, the super high armor things that are just very difficult to chew through have been based on an upkeep, which means you can play the blessed cards and you're buffed up heavy and it will kill it.
Yep.
And now we are seeing more things that are just arm 21, arm 22, arm 23 without less, you don't ignore it.
Yep.
Yep.
And people are not prepared to chew through that, especially with the rack changes where you can't just rack your damage buff.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
On the topic of the Incarnate Knights, I don't think they're
I don't either,
terribly
Thomas.
above the curve because I think you're looking at a unit in a worse position than the Lakabash brothers of but they're cav models, so what are they killing?
That's the thing that I always bring up is that the Lakabash brothers do damage and have utility, whereas the cab models do not. And when I say utility, they do have utility. They just don't do damage. It comparatively, I should say. Most of the time you run into the cav, you end up in a tar pit with that cav unit.
Yep.
And you just sit there staring at each other. And eventually they'll kill you because they're going to be POW 14, POW 16. And they will eventually kill your stuff, but it's going to take them a few turns. Which is exactly how the Chimera player is using them. I don't think that they're overpowered. Those are one of the models that I was told maybe we should add to that I should be adding to that list. I don't think that they fit. We're running into that super long point at this point, guys. So let's. I wanted to ask one more question, Cody. You and I are both on WTC teams. I personally feel that my team is doing incredible preparations. They've accepted me onto the team. I feel very appreciated on my team, and it's been a wonderful experience thus far. Have you felt the same?
Yeah, for the most part, I would. It's always a little bit of getting used to things when you're on a team with multiple people you haven't been on a team with before, but
That's fair.
it's been a good experience so far. I feel good about the team.
I mean, you guys did all of you collectively did very well at both Adepticon and at Bokur Brawl. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see all of you together, but whatever. It's okay.
Yeah, I think we did something dumb like 41-4 for Bokur as a team.
Yeah, which is
Yep. Sounds about right.
fucking disgusting. You guys are a bunch of degenerates. I think
We do
that's
what we can.
I think that's about it. I do want to say thank you so much, Cody, for coming on and hanging out with us. It's been a pleasure to have you, and I'm gonna let Thomas finish it up.
All right, that was a fantastic rundown of the event and a fantastic follow up on some models and some United States WTC prep. They got a few more months coming up before the big event, so hopefully we can maybe check in again, 2-3 months from now, see how at least Ryan's feeling. Maybe poke Cody and see if he can give us how he's feeling about it too. But thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye, guys.